Hello, my name's Amanda. Welcome to my channel. And today we're going to talk about 3 magical aspects of being the black sheep in your family. What you can do going into the future if you are the black sheep of the family to be empowered and loving and balanced. And first off, what is the black sheep? You already know if you are one. I don't need to explain this. But basically, you've been seeing through unhealthy patterns in your family line. And it's caused you to feel really uncomfortable. Maybe those patterns have been projected onto you, causing direct pain or abuse. And you've probably had to use your voice to vocalize that this has caused you pain. Maybe you've even had to make boundaries or cut off contact with certain people who were not willing to stop these patterns. So what are these patterns? There's an endless list, but some of the top ones are narcissism, ongoing manipulation, gossip about other people behind their back in an ongoing way, people pleasing, forcing other people to fit in covertly. And I'm talking, you know, if dominant family members when you were growing up spoke ill of certain types of people that did certain types of things, but you knew that you had a part of you that was like those people, that would scare you away from expressing those parts of you. You know, if your family talked negatively about people of a certain sexual orientation, a certain race, but maybe you knew that that sexual orientation was part of you, or that you were in love with someone from that race, or whatever, that causes a lot of stress and splitting because your family is still in a very old way and a destructive way of being. Okay, and so if you've had to separate yourself in some way or vocalize what you're seeing, kind of like the emperor's new clothes, you've probably come up against a lot of rejection and a lot of pain in the process. So the first magical thing is you are an alchemist. What is an alchemist? In symbology, an alchemist is someone who turns lead into gold, someone who takes raw material and makes something beautiful. Okay, and so with the pain and rejection and separation that is that raw material, that is that lead, you are someone who is in the process of digesting it, of distilling it, of breaking it down to create gold, to create the golden version of yourself, regardless. Actually, as a result of having to go through that sifting process, as a result of having to go through that furnace. This is a lifetime work, maybe many lifetimes, but you're an alchemist who's committed to going through whatever you have to go through to allow what is not helpful, what patterns need to be broken off of you that you're not going to continue in your family, and then emerge as gold. Okay, number 2, you bring innovation from the future. You bring innovation from the future, and this is a natural result of being an alchemist. I have a story, someone I know and love recently went to a wedding where they knew that they wouldn't be very welcome by certain members of the family, but they really wanted to be there for the bride and groom. Okay, and so sure enough, they got to the wedding and they were given some dirty looks and some whispers behind their back, and it was just kind of uncomfortable. But as soon as the music started, they were on the dance floor dancing with their partner, and they danced the night away. They danced the night away. And so instead of coming up and fighting against the old, they created from that raw energy. And there was a lot of pain involved in being at that wedding. Even with all the dancing, there was a lot of pain there. But they did what they needed to do to bring that innovation of a new pattern from the future. And so we are pattern breakers if we are healthy black sheep, or if we're becoming healthy black sheep. And so instead of fighting those old patterns, because it's not about those people, it's about those energies, those dense energies that have been on the same channel for a really long time. It's not about fighting those patterns on their own ground. It's literally about transcending and bringing in that innovation of new patterns, new ways of being that are just too big and too bright and too beautiful and just totally outshine the old. Okay, so you're bringing in innovation from the future. Number 3, you're able to hold the light for others because you've walked through darkness. It's really easy and it's very understandable if you have been that black sheep for most of your life to fall back into victim mode. It's really easy to fall back into victim mode, feel sorry for yourself, only see the separation and the rejection over and over. When we start to become an alchemist, when we start to bring in those innovations from the future on a regular basis, despite making mistakes, despite maybe putting our foot in our mouth, despite coming across as harsh, if we're really coming from the heart, then those mistakes will work themselves out. Okay, it's normal. You don't have to be perfect in this process. You just have to come from the heart first. And you're able to hold light, hold up the lantern for others, hold up the lantern for yourself, because you are able to really feel deeply the effects of the darkness that you've been through as a result of seeing what you've had to see, vocalizing what you've had to vocalize, maybe making healthy boundaries and creating space if you've had to do that. And there's a lot of people out there that are sitting on the fence. We might not notice, but there's a lot of people who've been sitting on the fence and who have also felt uncomfortable within their family system with these patterns going on. But they might not have yet the capability or the strength to create the healthy space or the healthy patterns or using their voice in the way that they need to. But your existence and what you've been through as kind of like a forerunner, that is creating an option for them that they may not have noticed or seen or had you not gone through what you've been through. And this is why we have to keep going, and we have to refrain from being a victim, because that's not going to help those people. Those people don't want to emerge into the next layer of themselves just to become a victim like you. These people want to emerge and also join in new innovations from the future. These people also want to start to become an alchemist, and they need to know where to start. And so even if you're not speaking to them directly, guarantee you've caught their eye. Guarantee you're giving them an out. You're giving them an option. So if you can keep going and you can keep creating art out of your pain and broadcast your new lifestyle, keep creating, then you're holding a lantern up for those people when it's their time to jump off the fence and choose what they need to choose. And there's a lot of light coming on the planet right now, a lot more awareness. People are becoming more sensitive. People are becoming less able to continue in some of those old patterns. And they're going to need to know where to go and what to do. And even if they're not going to do exactly what you did or speak in the same way as you did, they're going to follow that stream of energy. And that's why you've got to keep going. That's why you've got to bring in fresh innovations from the future. And if that pain has continued to recycle for you over and over, if it feels like you've been on that same channel forever, recycling the pain of this, bring in fresh replacements. Create family where you are with what you have, and start to fill your life with things that are not associated with that old pain. And what that's going to do is shift your awareness to the new, what you're making and creating, who you're connecting with, what you're collaborating to do, even if it's on a small level. And then as you have less awareness on that old pain that you've been recycling, your mind and your awareness is focusing on what you're creating that's new. So that even if the pain crops up, you've got more of a balance. You've got other things to focus on, other beautiful things. And the more you focus on the new beautiful things that you're creating and becoming, knowing yourself, then that pain is just going to have less power, even if it's still there, even if it's still there. And so to all the black sheep out there, well done all these years. Well done for feeling what needed to be felt, feeling what other people were unwilling to feel, seeing what people were unable or unwilling to see with these old patterns from the old world. And thank you for paving the way into the new world along with me and so many other people that are doing this. Most people actually feel very alone doing this, but there are many. I promise you, there are many of us. And our future is going to be very exciting as we bring in these new, fresh patterns. And this is, again, I just want to say, it's not so much about blaming and pointing the finger at other people that are caught in these old patterns. Because we've all got patterns of our own. We have to take a look at our own life and see where we have been manipulative, where we have done or said narcissistic things, where we have been people-pleasing, where we have gossiped, where we have even been abusive in some way. Okay, and so it's definitely not about pointing the finger, but if we can look at those parts of us, have compassion for the reasons why we've done those things, and still bring in something fresh, that's where we want to get to. Because with that fresh new stuff, there's not going to be room for those old patterns. They're just going to be icky. They're just going to be annoying. They're just going to feel frustrating to be part of. They're fizzling off. They're burning off. It's a painful process. It's an uncomfortable process. But there's one alternative, and that is going back to those old patterns, accepting those old patterns, being part of them, weighed down by them. So thank you for watching this video. Please comment or like if you liked it, and journey well.